So you are looking for an awesome Ruby on Rails development setup using PostgreSQL as your database? A setup so game-changing, it's already designed for real-world deployment of your application to Amazon Web Services Elastic Beanstalk? Well, maybe you've tried some development setups and very likely you've already tried some deployment tutorials. But man, it's just so confusing and time consuming, and in the end all of them let you down. And after all of that, how can Ruby on Rails claim that it includes everything needed to develop real-world database-backed web applications easy? Well, I'm gonna show you exactly how in this video. Now, before we start any further, let's have an overview what we are going to install and where this setup is leading you. First of all, I've just reset my Mac to the factory settings, so I'm installing everything from scratch here. First thing we're gonna need is the Xcode editor. This is required by your Mac operating system because only then it can access all those software development tools that are needed for developing software on your Mac, laptop or computer. The next thing we're gonna install is Visual Studio Code. It's a source code editor and I like it. And it's really great because it shows you in each file your local changes and you can be really confident before you're committing your changes and maybe new features that you implemented in your software. You can see it in each file. It's really great, but it's optional. You can use any source code editor that you like. The next component we're going to install is oh-my-ZSH. It's also optional, but it's one of the greatest things that I've found out recently. It's basically software that will highlight your command line, your terminal, and it gives you a colorful terminal and you can see in which Git branch you are working. It can show you everything that you need, your IP address from your computer, if you're accessing your server. It's really great for visualizing all those necessary informations that you need when you're developing software on your computer. Then the next component is Homebrew, definitely not optional. Next step is we have to sign up for a Bitbucket or Github account. Then we will set up the Git username and the Git email address locally on your computer. After that, we are starting with the basically Ruby and Ruby on Rails installation. This begins with RVM. This is the Ruby version manager. And then we're installing Ruby. Then we're installing Ruby on Rails. And in the end, we're installing PostgreSQL. That's where the setup is leading you. In the description of this video, I will link the beginning of each installation that I just mentioned. And I will also write the terminal commands that you need for installing that. So basically you can, if you don't need everything from this setup, you can just jump to the section that you want to install, and also everything that you need to type in your command line will also be listed in the description of this video. All right, the first thing we will need is the Xcode software. Just short information, Xcode is an integrated development environment for Mac operating system containing a suite of software development tools. That's it. That's why we need it. If those software development tools, they are installed with Xcode software on your computer and your computer needs them for a lot of other things that we will install later, and also for you to be able to develop software on your computer. Smash like for Xcode. Let's start with it. We're going to the App Store and gonna install Xcode. I will pause the video until Xcode has finished downloading. Alright, so the Xcode developer tools have finished downloading and installing, and you can check that also by opening your Launchpad. It was added as an icon in your Launchpad. Now let's open Xcode. Since we opened Xcode, this final installation that's happening right now is really finishing everything. All the components are getting installed that are being needed for your system to be able to develop software on your Mac, computer or laptop. And to be really honest with you, you never have to open Xcode again after that, because if you are using a different source code editor like me, I'm using Visual Studio Code, actually you're never opening Xcode again. It's just required to download it and install it. It's done. We can move on to the next step, which is Visual Studio Code. Now we are going to download and install Visual Studio Code. You just go on Google, type it in, and the first result that pops up, click on it. Download starts automatically here in the bottom left corner. You open it. Now here's an important part. I always like to have all my applications in the applications folder. So I'm dragging it over there, and in the applications folder, I'm opening the Visual Studio Code editor. Alright, so there is some getting started information automatically popping up, and here is your Visual Studio Code editor. So we will close it, and Visual Studio Code has also been added to our Mac Launchpad. Now we are going to focus on the terminal or the command line tools. On your Mac, when you type in terminal in your Launchpad, you should move your terminal to a more easier to find location. I like to have it here, so it's quite easy for me to open it. Alright, so why are we going to install oh-my-ZSH? And the answer to that question is really simple. There are lots of awesome themes. Your command line will look like this, however you want it. You can change those themes to whatever are your requirements or what you like most. So let's jump back and start installation. We are going to paste that line of code into our terminal. Yes, we want to install it. Okay, we need some password here. And it started. So if you are closing your terminal now, yeah, we can terminate everything, and you're opening it again, you will see it's a bit different. It has a default theme already set, and installation of the ZSH is completed. To change the theme that is being used by your ZSH software, we have to open the Visual Studio Code, and we have to press Command, Shift, and the P letter. Now we will type in code, and there's a command that says shell command install code command in path, and we will click on that. Now what this command does, just give me a second for my password. Alright, what this command does is, if you are opening your terminal again, and let's say you type in code and a dash, it will open Visual Studio . I don't need my contacts in Visual Studio. It will open Visual Studio for the exact folder that you just are located in. So let's change to the desktop. Change. Yeah. All right, and we type again code, and it opens a new window. And actually, my desktop is empty, but you know where this is going. So this is a really great setting that you need if you want to access those things fast. All right, now we are going to check out the ZSH settings. So we need to type in another line of code. We want the Visual Studio to open the ZSH file that is responsible for the theme. Here it is. And the default is the Robbie Russell. I personally like that, and I don't need another theme, but I want to show you how you can change it. You just click on the wiki page, then you just click on the themes, and let's take another one. Yeah, I would say let's take the Aussie gig. All right, now we're going back to that file, Aussie gig, saving it, quitting it, closing it. Also, we have to close our terminal now. Opening it again, the terminal. And now, as you can see, it's a different theme. So let's change it back to the default. The arrow up key will open that file again. And we will take the Robbie Russell again. Where is it? Robbie Russell. Here we go. All right, Robbie Russell is back in business. Now that we took our time to make the terminal or the command line looking prettier by using ZSH, we should also increase the font size and window size of the terminal because we are using it a lot. So you are opening the preferences of the terminal, and in the profiles section you are seeing the font size. Here it is, we can change it. Here it is. And we will be using 18 pixels. I'm gonna close that. And also the window size, we're going to increase it by a lot. Actually, this is even, you can even see how it changes. I just put it down there. I just put it here so you can see it easier. So when default was the 80 pixels or whatever columns, okay, and we are gonna change that to 140. So, and also the height, we're gonna change that to 60. Great. Now, as you see, the font size is not updated instantly, but if we are opening the terminal again, font size will be increased. So also now I notice that the height is maybe a bit too high, so I'm gonna change that back to 50. All right, this is still a lot. 40. 40 is good. All right, opening it again. Great. Now that's a really nice terminal design that we are having. The next software we will install is the Homebrew. You just type on Google Homebrew. What is Homebrew? Homebrew is a free and open source software package management system that simplifies installation of software on Apple macOS operating systems. All right, long story short, Homebrew is there for you to update software and give you feedback about your system. So it works like this. You say Homebrew, how's my system? And Homebrew will do some reports and check out and give you feedback. You need to update 365 applications, and he will also ask you if he should do that for you. You can install and delete software with Homebrew, and Homebrew does all the dirty work for you, and we want exactly that, because then we don't have to do the dirty work ourselves. We go there, take the first line of code and put it into our terminal. Press return to continue. All right, password required. So I will pause the video until the installation is finished. All right, Homebrew has finished downloading an installation. So we're gonna type brew help. Yep, and it works. So the next step is somehow optional, but I personally don't consider it as optional, because you need source control if you are developing software, and you have to sign up, in my opinion, for a Bitbucket account or a Github account. Now let's have a short look at Bitbucket, about the pricing actually. Currently Bitbucket here is free for small teams, free for up to 5 users, and it has unlimited private repositories. So if we check out the pricing of GitHub, also the GitHub plans are starting for free. You have unlimited public repositories and unlimited private repositories. Smash like for unlimited private GitHub repositories for $0 a month. I leave that up to you guys. If you are deciding Bitbucket or GitHub, take whatever you think is best for you. The next step in our setup is to set up the local Git username and email address. And again, this works with either your Bitbucket account or your GitHub account. We are opening the terminal. You have to type in your own name here. And your email address. We will be installing the Ruby version manager next. The Ruby version manager is extremely useful. It helps you so that you can tell your system which Ruby version should be used locally on your machine. And this is so useful because later in the future, when we are deploying our Ruby on Rails 6 application to Amazon Web Services Elastic Beanstalk applications, we have to have the same Ruby version locally running on our system that is running on the AWS Elastic Beanstalk application. And this can be done with Ruby version manager. So smash like for Ruby version manager. Here it is. Copy and paste it into our terminal. And we will see each other again when this download and installation is completed, which is right now. Damn, that was quite fast. I mean, obviously it worked, but there's a command where you can check if everything worked. What? Command not found RVM? You kidding me? How am I gonna get out of this? So after the RVM was downloaded and being installed, you close and open the terminal again, and you can confirm that the installation was successful by typing in this terminal command basically. Now, the next step that we are going to perform is we will install Ruby on your Mac operating system. Now, hear me out on this one. If you type in Ruby and version on your Mac operating system, you will see that there is already a Ruby version pre-installed. This is a default setting that any Mac operating system has. However, we have to install a new and additional Ruby version on your Mac. We later will install Ruby on Rails, and this will only work out if we have installed this additional Ruby version, because with the default Ruby version that comes on your Mac operating system, you cannot really, let's say, you can't really mess around with that. This should stay like it is, and it's not allowed for you to change a lot. But with your new Ruby version, you can change a lot. You can update the versions, you can upgrade whatever you want, and you can install Ruby on Rails with it. So we're going to install Ruby again. Like this, we're gonna type that into our terminal. And this will take a while, so I'll see you later when this installation is done successfully. The Ruby installation just finished, and we can check that out by typing in Ruby space dash and a V for version into our terminal. And as we see, there is a brand new version of Ruby installed on our Mac operating system. So the next step of this setup is to install Ruby on Rails, and this can also be done by one simple command: gem install Rails node document. Also here we will see each other again when this installation has finished. Ruby on Rails installation has finished. Let's check out the Rails version 5.2.3. This is the default version that gets installed with this command. Now in the next video, I will show you how to update your Ruby on Rails version to Rails 6, the race car version at the moment, RC1, and also how to create a sample Ruby on Rails application by using PostgreSQL as the database locally on your system. This will be the content of the next video, just short information for you. Good. Next step, we will be installing PostgreSQL. So we're clicking here, then we're clicking on the download button here, and we have to select Mac operating system, and very hidden here, it's download the installer, and we want to click on that link, which opens a new website, and we take the latest version, PostgreSQL 11.4 at the moment, and we're downloading it for MacOS X. So here it starts, and the download is already finished, so we will jump right in. Great. Double click. Password needed again. The PostgreSQL installation is very important. You also have to write down your password so that you never forget it, which happened to me once, and trust me, you don't want to experience that ever in your life. So select the components. We want the command line tools. We want everything here, even though we don't really need it. So now here's the most important part of the installation. You want to write that password down and lock it in a safe place, okay? Don't share that password with anyone. This is your database super user, the Postgres user, the password for that user. So I have to think about a good password now, and once I wrote it down and I pasted it here, we will see each other again. All right, back to business. The default port, it's okay. Database cluster, the default one. You can review your settings. Yes, we want to install everything, and here it starts. All right, the installation has finished. There was no action required more by my side, so I just skipped the video here. We need to enter the password here a lot. So we don't need that stack builder stuff, so we just cancel it. Yeah, we want to really cancel it. Okay, now the PostgreSQL installation is completed for your Mac operating system. In your Launchpad, you can see that there have been new components added. You have a SQL shell for the Postgres. You have a pgadmin, which is a very important tool where you can visualize your local and also your deployment database if you have a connection to the deployment server where the database is hosted. So you can visualize the database, you can see the rows, you can run your scripts all on your computer, no matter if this is your local database for the development setup or the databases that will be used for your production environment. And I made a full video on branching and deployment strategies for enterprise level software. So if you're interested in that, check out the video. So in the next video, I will show you how to create a Ruby on Rails 6 demo application on your local system using PostgreSQL as the database. Also, I will show you the pgadmin 4 tool and how you can use it to visualize the database and the data in it from your local system, basically the local host where your Rails application is being developed. If you are interested in a really good enterprise level branching and deployment strategy, check out my other videos. I did a video on this branching and deployment strategy. So I hope you liked this video. If you are interested in the stuff that I'm showing you, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know it with a comment and like the video. So Thank you very much and see you in the next episode.